So welcome back. So I'll be moving to the different theories that are proposed to actually counter or actually solve this argument. So, and when it comes to literary appreciations, on a particular literature, so one of the things we review is the authorship of that book, the author of the actual literary piece. So, and it is very important for us to also know the sources of the information of the information actually, or the events narrated in those books. So the first theory, documentary hypothesis. The first theory that I'm going to talk about is what we call a documentary hypothesis of Will Hussein. So this theory is called the JEDP documentary hypothesis. The JEDP documentary hypothesis of Julius Will Hussein. So Will Hussein was the one that propounded this theory. So now let me now talk about what does this theory or this documentary hypothesis actually try to explain to us. So this documentary hypothesis or this theory emphasizes on the fact that the Pentateuch was composed from four main sources. That is, the sources behind the composition of the Pentateuch are four. There are four main sources responsible for the composition of the Pentateuch. So which means that it was not written by an author, so written by different authors using different sources. So the first one, and these sources are called the JEDP sources. JEDP sources. So the J there stands for Yahwehist, from the name Yahweh, Yahwehist. And the second one, which is the E there, the E stands for Elohist, from the name Elohim. So we also have Deuteronomist, Deuteronomist, from the name Deuteronomy. So we have Deuteronomist. So that's D. And we also have P, which stands for the priestly source. So, and these sources actually take several centuries to come into shape, to form a book. It took several centuries. So, and like I said before, this hypothesis was propounded by Julius Will Hussein. And this hypothesis is basically used to counter or to tackle the traditional Mosaic authorship of the Pentateuch. So now let's see the breakdown of this hypothesis. So this hypothesis, the first one, the Yahwehist, the Yahwehist source. So it was this source was actually believed to would have been written around 950 to 850 BCE. 850 BC, from 950 to 850 BCE. So, and the writer or the user of this source, they call God Yahweh. Or they replace the name of God for Yahweh. So, and this source actually focused on the southern kingdom of Judah. Don't forget, the Israelites were broken into two during the time of Rehoboam. 10 tribes given to Jeroboam and 2 tribes to Rehoboam. The 2 tribes were known to be the Judah, and the 10 tribes are called Israel. So the 10 tribes, they have their capital city to be Samaria, while the 2 tribes have their capital city to be Jerusalem. So that is Yahwehist. So, and what are the characteristics of this source? So the actually, this source is more personal, and it has the characteristics of the anthropomorphic portrayal of God. Anthropomorphic is from the word anthropos, or anthropology. Anthropology is from the Greek word anthropologos, so which means it has to do with human being, the study, the science of human, the science of human. So this source actually anthropomorphize the name of God. So another thing is that this source actually emphasize on human relationship and drama. It emphasized on the relationship between human, and also made use of drama to actually explain, to convey some of his messages. So, and the last characteristics on that part is that this, like I said before, this source used the name Yahweh. They used the name Yahweh from the beginning. For example, Genesis 2:3, Genesis 12-36, Exodus 1-24. So they used the name of Yahweh from the beginning. That is why the Genesis chapter 1 is quite different in style. It's quite different from Genesis chapter 2. Because Genesis chapter 2 is trying to repeat what Genesis chapter 1 said. So the writer of the chapter 1 is quite different from the writer of the chapter 2. So the writer of the chapter 2 were considered to be the Yahwists, the one that used the name of Yahweh. So even if that is why, if you read Genesis chapter 1 in its original form, it says that Bereshit bara, that is from the Hebrew, Bereshit bara Elohim. They use the word Elohim, that is the word Elohim for God. So that is basically not from the Yahweh source. So if you study chapter 2, so they make use of the name Yahweh to convey to actually explain or to actually refer to God. So in the next video, I will talk about the Elohist, the Deuteronomist, and probably the priestly. So thanks for watching.